The attic air hung thick and heavy, a suffocating blanket of dust and forgotten things. Sunlight, fractured by the grimy window panes, painted weak, yellow stripes across the floorboards. I hated it up here, but Eleanor had insisted. "Come on, Chloe. It'll be fun. Think of it, our own secret hideout." Eleanor. Just the thought of her name sent a shiver crawling down my spine. A shiver that had nothing to do with the attic's chill. She was my best friend, or at least she had been. Now I wasn't so sure. We'd been inseparable since kindergarten. Two peas in a pod. Always whispering secrets and sharing dreams. But somewhere along the way, Eleanor had changed. The joy, the laughter, the genuine kindness. It all seemed to fade, replaced by something sharper, something darker. It started subtly. A little dig here, a backhanded compliment there. Then came the controlling behavior, the constant need to know where I was, who I was with, what I was doing. She'd get angry if I spent time with anyone else, accusing me of betrayal. "You're all I have, Chloe," she'd say, her voice a low, persuasive murmur. "You're my best friend. You wouldn't leave me, would you?" And I, being the naive, loyal friend I was, always reassured her. Always caved. The attic was her latest obsession. She claimed she felt a connection to it, a sense of history, of something. I just felt a creeping unease. It was filled with my grandmother's old belongings. Moth-eaten furniture, boxes overflowing with faded photographs, and a disturbing collection of antique dolls with chipped porcelain faces and staring, lifeless eyes. "Imagine all the stories this room could tell," Eleanor breathed, her eyes gleaming in the dim light. She ran a hand over a dusty, ornate rocking chair, a strange smile playing on her lips. I swallowed, the air suddenly feeling thick in my lungs. "Yeah, well, I'm not really into ghost stories," she scoffed. "Don't be such a scaredy cat, Chloe. There's nothing to be afraid of, unless you have something to hide." That comment, like so many others, was laced with a subtle threat. It was her signature move, making me feel guilty and on edge, even when I hadn't done anything wrong. Things got worse after we found the journal. It was hidden inside a locked wooden chest, tucked away in the darkest corner of the attic. Eleanor, with her unnerving persistence, managed to pick the lock with a hairpin. Inside, we found a leather-bound journal filled with elegant, looping script. It belonged to my great-great-aunt, Beatrice, who had lived in this house over a century ago. The entries chronicled her life, her dreams, her fears, and ultimately, her descent into madness. Beatrice wrote of strange occurrences in the house, of whispers in the night, of shadows moving in the periphery of her vision. She believed she was being haunted by a malevolent spirit, one that sought to possess her. As I read aloud, my voice trembling, Eleanor listened with rapt attention, her eyes wide and unblinking. When I finished, she let out a low whistle. "Wow, Chloe, this is incredible. It's like something out of a horror movie." I slammed the journal shut. "It's creepy, Eleanor. Let's just put it back and forget we ever found it." But Eleanor wouldn't let it go. She became obsessed with Beatrice's story, reading the journal over and over again, poring over every detail. She started acting different. She became withdrawn, secretive, and her already sharp tongue grew even more cutting. She began to mimic Beatrice's mannerisms, adopting her formal speech and even attempting to imitate her handwriting. She started wearing old-fashioned clothes she found in the attic, long, flowing dresses that made her look like a ghost from another era. "Don't you see, Chloe?" she said one day, her voice unnervingly calm. "Beatrice isn't just some historical figure. She's a part of us. This house is a part of us. We're connected, you and I." I tried to reason with her, to tell her that she was taking things too far. But she wouldn't listen. She was lost in her own world, a world of shadows and whispers, a world where Beatrice's madness reigned supreme. Then the nightmares started. At first, they were vague and unsettling, filled with shadowy figures and disembodied voices. But as Eleanor's obsession grew, so did the intensity of my nightmares. I dreamt of Beatrice, her face gaunt and hollow, her eyes burning with an unholy light. She would reach out to me, her touch cold and clammy, whispering my name in a voice that sounded eerily like Eleanor's. I started to see things too. Flickering shadows in the corners of my eyes, objects moving on their own, whispers that seemed to follow me from room to room. I told my parents, but they dismissed it as stress. I was spending too much time in that dusty old attic, they said. I needed to get out more, to focus on my schoolwork. But I couldn't stay away. Eleanor wouldn't let me. She was like a spider, weaving a web around me, trapping me in her twisted reality. One night, she called me, her voice frantic. "Chloe, you have to come over. Something's happening. I need you." I hesitated. I knew I shouldn't go. Every instinct in my body screamed at me to stay away. But I couldn't abandon her. Not yet. When I arrived at her house, the air was thick with an unnatural stillness. The house was dark, save for a single flickering candle in the attic window. I crept up the creaking stairs, my heart pounding in my chest. The attic was even more oppressive than usual. The air was heavy with the scent of dust and decay. Eleanor stood in the center of the room, bathed in the flickering candlelight. She was wearing one of Beatrice's old dresses, her face pale and gaunt. Her eyes were wide and vacant, like those of the porcelain dolls that lined the shelves. "Eleanor," I whispered, my voice trembling. "What's going on?" She didn't answer. She just stared at me, her eyes filled with an unnerving emptiness. Then, slowly, she raised her hand, pointing towards a dark corner of the room. "She's here, Chloe," she said, her voice a raspy whisper. "Beatrice is here. She wants to talk to you." I followed her gaze, my blood running cold. In the shadows, I saw a figure coalescing, a shadowy form that seemed to grow darker and more defined with each passing second. It was Beatrice, or at least what I imagined Beatrice to look like. Her face was gaunt and hollow, her eyes burning with an unholy light. "Chloe," she whispered, her voice a chilling echo that seemed to resonate from the very walls of the attic. "Join us, Chloe. Join us and become one with the house." I screamed, backing away from the figure. Eleanor stepped forward, blocking my path. "Don't be afraid, Chloe," she said, her voice now a perfect imitation of Beatrice's. "Embrace the darkness. Embrace the madness." She reached out to me, her touch cold and clammy. I recoiled, desperate to escape. But there was nowhere to run. I was trapped, caught in Eleanor's web, a prisoner of her twisted obsession. Then, something snapped within me. The fear, the guilt, the years of being controlled and manipulated, it all coalesced into a single burning rage. "No!" I screamed, shoving Eleanor away from me. "I'm not going to let you do this. I'm not going to let you turn me into someone I'm not." I grabbed the journal from the nearby table, the pages falling open to a random entry. Without thinking, I began to read, my voice shaking but firm. "Beatrice, you are not welcome here. This is my house, my life. I will not let you control me." As I read, the shadowy figure of Beatrice began to flicker and fade. Eleanor screamed, clutching her head in her hands. "Stop it, Chloe. Stop it. You don't understand." But I didn't stop. I continued to read, my voice growing stronger with each word. I spoke of love, of hope, of the importance of living in the present, not being consumed by the ghosts of the past. Finally, with a final, agonizing scream, Beatrice vanished. Eleanor collapsed to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. I stood there, shaking and breathless, the journal clutched tightly in my hand. The candle flickered and died, plunging the attic into darkness. Took a long time for Eleanor to recover. She underwent therapy, and slowly, painstakingly, began to unravel the twisted web of obsession that had consumed her. She apologized for everything she had done, for the pain she had caused. I forgave her eventually, but things would never be the same. The trust was broken, the innocence lost. I still think about Beatrice sometimes, and about the darkness that lurks within us all. And I still have nightmares about the attic, about the porcelain dolls with their staring, lifeless eyes, and about the chilling echo of Eleanor's voice, whispering my name in the darkness. I haven't been back to that attic since. and I never will be. Some doors are best left closed, some secrets best left buried. Because sometimes, the most terrifying monsters aren't the ones hiding in the shadows, but the ones we invite into our lives, disguised as friends. And sometimes, the echoes of their toxicity can haunt us forever.